بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
So the very first article of faith is to believe in the absolute oneness of God, believing in the angels, the next one, believing in all the prophets, the ones which I showed, and all the ones which also not mentioned up there. The very first one, Adam, the last one, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. We believe in all the books that were given to Prophet Moses, the book given to Prophet David, the book given to Prophet Jesus, some scrolls that were given to Prophet Abraham, and obviously we believe in the book that is given to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. But we believe in those books that were in the original forms. So those books were only for those people according to Islam and for that time. And we say that, because of the long time in history, some of the books, they did not came down to us in a pure form. Some of them, they were edited and altered and revised. So what God did was, according to Islam, He sent His final book with the final messenger, Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Quran. In the Quran, God promises, in chapter 15 of the Quran, verse number 9, Inna nahnu nazzalna zikra wa inna lahu lahafizun. That it is Allah, it is God who has revealed this reminder, this book. He is the one who is going to protect it. You'll be amazed to find out that when this book was given to Muhammad, peace be upon him, he became the very first memorizer of the Quran, of this whole book. From the first page to the last page, he memorized the whole Quran. All throughout the ages, there have been people who have memorized this, like tens and hundreds of people in each single generation. There are no less than 10 million memorizers of the Quran in the whole world. There are about maybe 15 or maybe 10 Muslims up here. There are at least 2 Muslims that I know in this room who memorized this whole book. And I want them to stand up and recognize yourselves. Go ahead, stand up. There you go, 1 and 2. Give them a big hand. Yes. Good job. Can you imagine? It has like literally thousands of passages, hundreds of pages. They memorized the Quran in the original Arabic language. Yes. In Arabic language. If I open the book over here, he could be facing up there and he could recite from the first page to the last page, right? And same thing with Hudhaifa too. So that is one of the miracles of the Quran. The second miracle of the Quran would be, many of us, we are people of science. This is a scientific age. Out of the 6,000 passages of the Quran, no less than 500 plus of them, they deal with the modern scientific facts. For example, if we go and ask any cosmologist, when did the world begin, or when did the universe begin? How did it begin? They may say that about 13.8 billion years ago, the whole universe was in one primordial mass. And then was a big explosion, and then from that we have all the galaxies, the stars, the planets, and all the things in the universe. Quran says in chapter 21, verse number 30, that do not the unbelievers see that the heavens and the earth, all things, they were joined together in one mass. It is God who split them apart, right? 7th century book. Without any technology, without any instruments, MRI machines, telescope, microscopes, the Quran mentions this truth about 1400 years ago. The Quran speaks about the shape of the earth as being round. Chapter 79, verse number 30. Quran speaks about embryology, right? I'm from the medical field. How the fetus grows inside the mother's womb. Chapter 21, verse number 12, 13, and 14. Chapter number 96, verse number 1 to verse number 5, and many, many places. So there are 500 plus scientific truths in the Quran to make us realize that this cannot be from the 7th century human being. This has to be from the Creator who knows us, who knows the truth, and He has placed those truths inside here for us to ponder that this is from God. The next slide speaks about the 5 pillars of Islam. I want you to tell me what are the 5 pillars, right? Many of you raised your hands that you have read about Islam. So what could be some of the 5 pillars of Islam, right? We could help each other out. Yes, sir.
Pilgrimage to Mecca.
Pilgrimage to Mecca, very important. Pilgrimage to Mecca. Yes, so that's one of the pillars. Yes, ma'am. Praying 5 times a day. Somebody here? Yes. Yeah. Giving charity, obligatory charity to the poor, the needy, the homeless, right? We are down to 2 more. Fasting in the month of Ramadan, the last pillar. Yes, sir. Shahada, which means what?
There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger.
Yes. So Shahada means that you are testifying that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the messenger of God. So those are the 5 pillars of Islam, right? So what we will do now is we'll go directly to some of the important topics. Here are some of the teachings of Islam. I mean, this is just a very abridged version. Do not be rude in speech. Refrain your anger. Be good to others. Do not be arrogant. Forgive others for their mistakes. Speak to others mildly. Lower your voice. Do not ridicule others. Dutiful to your parents. Protect the orphans. Try to be the peacemaker between the people. So when you pick up the copies of the Quran, which are free for all of you, you will find out that there are commandment after commandment that are there to enhance the society, to unify the people, to create justice and equality between all of humanity. Right? So there are many, many commandments in there, and they're all there for wonderful benefit for all of us. 10 commandments in the Quran, right? Are you surprised? Yes, there are 10 well, there are many commandments, but the 10 commandments that many of you are used to, which are there in the Old Testament, in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse number 3, and also in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse number 6. Most of them are also, actually all of them are mentioned in the Quran, and they're distributed in different places. The very first one, there is no God except one, worship him alone. And next to it are the references from the Quran, the chapter and the verse. All right, so I'm going to come now to a very, very important topic, a very serious topic, and the topic which is out there in the media, right? And that is the topic of extremism, violence, and terrorism. And somehow the media or some presidential candidates, they make it as if Muslims are a threat, they are to be feared, and they do not belong to civilized society, whatever language that they use. I'm not going to use emotional answers saying that, no, we are the most peaceful people, right? I could say that. I mean, we are. But I'm going to supplement my answer by giving facts, as much evidence, as much data as possible to justify the answer. That when we look into the 1.7 billion Muslims around the world, yes, they are the good and the bad, right? But the good, like majority, obviously, just like the people of any faith, the good apples and the bad apples. But I'm also going to dwell upon the bad apples which are there in the Muslim society, why they are doing what they are doing. Not just what they are doing. We are going to really briefly touch upon why they are doing some of the acts of hatred and terrorism and extremism. So if we are going to fight those people or any people who are doing these things, we have to know the cause. Knowing the cause will help us to come up with the solutions.